Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late to the call here. Sean Joyce with you live from the Nutrien Ag Western Showdown men's event action in on this Thursday night. We've got 4 A event games. We're watching the quarterfinal between Niklas Edin and Riku Yanagisawa. First end well underway here. Down to the final skip stone. Edin throwing the Yellowstones. It is Yanagisawa with last rock here. And looks like he's going to turn draw. He'll have to come down to that stone that hits shot rock in the back of the forefoot. It's the one brusher here and trying to get the curl. He's got to get off the red guard yet. Gets by. Comes down, sits right on the corner of the Yellowstone. Yanagisawa picking up a single point here in the opening end of play. It'll be Niklas Edin with last rock in the second.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Welcome back. We once again apologize for the technical difficulties, so I was late joining you in this game. I'm sure a number of you were watching late from the start. It's been an entertaining first inning. Video in front of me. Riku Yanagisawa, nice draw with his final stone to pick up the single point. Niklas Edin will have last rock here in the second. Men's and women's events both running here this weekend in Swift Current. It is the men running a triple knockout, so these are all A semifinals. The 4 games tonight will determine the 4 teams that will play tomorrow afternoon for that first chance to get into the playoffs. 8 teams qualify in the men's field. Women playing 5 pools. And as I understand it, 10 teams make the playoffs there. I don't have the playoff draw in front of me. So 5 draws a day today, tomorrow, and Saturday. We'll have all of that action for you on the Saskatchewan Curling Stadium Network. And 3 draws on Sunday, playoffs. I guess with 10 teams in the women's side playoffs, the women will actually start Saturday night. A lot of action. A lot of action here in this second end already. We've got 4 rocks delivered and all of them in play. One corner guard, you can see the lineup of 3 in the center. Shot rock belonging to Nagasawa. To come around against it too. I think the discussion there was get the turn. We noticed on Riku's final stone last end that they only had the 1 brusher, so it looks like they're playing short-handed here. I'm not as familiar with their lineup as I am with some of the others, so we'll see if we can figure out which of the 3 of the registered players are the ones that are on the ice. Rasmus Rana looking to make a few of those rocks in the middle go away. Hits the double peel, not able to clip anything out of the rings. Leaves the shooter right there. Playing short-handed, it looks like the Nagasawa team is choosing to have the thrower jump up and be ready to sweep. So they do have 2. Another opportunity for Rasmus Rana to try to move some rocks out of the middle. He runs that straight back. 2 reds at the top of the house. Now just the 1 stone in the rings, along to Nagasawa back the foot with his shot rock. Head buried behind The yellow guard belonging to Niklas Edin. And they'll look to come around again. Try to stick two. Doesn't look like they want to go here, but they had to wait for the curl. Since that stone into the top of the 8 foot. Shot again, buried. Niklas Edin once again looking for the run back. This time it'll be the left-hander, Oscar Eriksson. Gets the hit, runs it back, clips the stone out of the top of the 8 foot. Just rolls the gray stone out as well. Another come-around attempt. I'm going to brush a little earlier on this one. Still lots of room by the guard. It is finishing now. Brings that stone into the top of the 4 foot, but this time might have left a piece of it exposed. Enough for Oscar Eriksson to try to come after it with half weight. You'd love to get close enough to the nose here to move maybe both of those reds. Don't even have to kill them both, but put them under the 4 foot area, give yourself some room. And keep the shooter in the ring somewhere and force Yanagisawa to make a play on it. Lots of room by the guard. Looking for an extra curl now. Does move both red stones. Actually, will get one of them out of the rings. Moves the other out of the 4 foot and keeps the shooter in the 8. Great shot by Oscar Eriksson here. Kind of forces Yanagisawa to make a play on second shot stone. He doesn't want to give up multiple here. And when he does that, for the first time with him, Niklas Edin not going to have to look at shot rock in front of the house behind cover. They'll have an opportunity to play some kind of an offensive shot here. On the brush early now. They've switched sides trying to get a little bit of curl. They certainly don't want to roll over and group these two stones. Hoping to spin up off the top of it. Maybe did. Still with those two stones belonging to Yanagisawa behind the tee line now. An opportunity for Edin to try to draw and perhaps set up the deuce here in the second half. Brushers staying close, waiting for the line here. Starting to curl now. And come right down to the face of that red stone. The only danger in coming quite that deep is that if Riku can freeze right on top of it again, probably a steal, although he does have one angle, one roll with an angle in. A little dangerous, but it's also Niklas Edin throwing it. We know to make those. Freeze has to be made first, however. When you've only got 3 players, everybody's a brusher. Both of them working this all the way down. Needs to get right to the face of the Edin stone. And a great job by those brushers. Actually teed up on the right angle where the angle run didn't even work that well for him. He could play the straight run back on the long guard. A little dangerous. It looks like what they're going to try to do here, and then you can see from the hack-in camera angle, that redstone dead buried. He's going to try to come tight by the guard and just clip the edge of that red stone, move it far enough to get his single point, even if it makes contact with the yellow behind it. That one's not going in, it's frozen. Throwing real big weight here, and he's going to move that just a little bit more than a foot. I think it's fairly thin when if he does make it. Close. Now they're sweeping for a little bit extra curl. Touches it. I'm not sure if they moved it far enough. Looks like they've decided they're going to measure those 2 stones. It's going to be a single point on the board one way or the other. Outstanding shot by Niklas Edin. Now it's tough to even make it close. Seen 3 different players look at it so far, and nobody seems to want to pass judgment or make a guess, or at least they don't want to do it visibly to give us an idea what they think. It's close. Murphy's Law, if you need to do a measurement on a televised game, the measuring stick's always at the other end. Thinking that's a high level of trust. The Edin team didn't send anybody out to see how the measure was going. And Rasmus Rana, which is going into the house, use the device. The stick not able to get by the Yellowstone at all. So it is the Yellowstone belonging to Niklas Edin. Picks up the single point. We're all tied up. Outstanding final shot for Niklas. Riku Yanagisawa with last rock in the third.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year.
I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Third end underway here. Edin with an outstanding final shot to pick up a single. They're tied up. Started the end off with a center guard, a tight center. Come around. Falls short of the ring. There's now an attempt by the Edin team to come around, and they just rubbed their own stone on the way by. Going in the open, there's an opportunity to make a play on it. Goes over to the edge of the 12-foot. Yanagisawa sitting one right now. The hit and go back towards the center. It's the hit, goes towards center, and was it going to stop at time? Stay in the back of the 8-foot, but has out in the open, probably 3/4 open anyway. Makes the hit, rolls to the edge of the 12-foot. Continues to hit shot rock. Niklas Edin had at least a thought about whether or not there might be something else to play here. I think perhaps where you can hit some rolls this far back in the house, you might see Yanagisawa will make an offensive play. I don't think he would in the odd end. Takes it. Rolls Rockwood towards center, still out in the open. The stone being so far behind the tee line, you know that Riku does not want to roll behind the center guard. He'd like to stay out in the open in the corner. It's a hit again. This time rolls to the back of the forefoot behind cover. You might see him make a play of some sort on the guard. He's going to look to come around. Looks to come around, sits top of the button behind those two guards. A little bit of protection from the back as well with that Yellowstone in the back 8-foot. Niklas Edin will call for the freeze on top of that redstone and just try to shrink the ring, see if we can get a force here. Erickson, the out turn for the left-hander, a lot of wind coming by, and this might be just a little straight as well. The wind wasn't bad, he's right to the red one, but throws a full Rockwood left and sits right beside it. Probably see about 2/3 from the hats. Definitely going to make a play on it, but if you're looking away from it, how do you try to hit it? Looks like Riku would like to get to the inside, across the face, tap it back. The problem then is you roll your red, sit on the corner of your own shot stone, and now any run back attempt by Niklas Edin, because of the angles, it probably clears both of the yellows that would be left behind it. Looks like they might be looking at maybe freezing the pocket. The other option, they maybe be able to play the double on the yellows and roll to the open. I think they discounted that possibility rather quickly, but I do think I saw them indicate that was one of the options. That ice looks like it's just a draw. Just a heavy draw, trying to move that yellow to the back of the forefoot. So I think if I caught the names on the jerseys right, this is Ryuichi Yamaguchi, normally the third for the team. The brusher, Satoshi Kazumi, and it is their normal second. Akira Yamamoto is not on the ice tonight, and we don't know whether he was here earlier, whether he's here at all. Perhaps he's ill, or it could be an injury situation. Whatever the case is, they're playing with 3 tonight. I definitely don't think they had ever looked at doing it on that side. However, ending up is not a bad lead. Niklas Edin, a master doubles, and would like to make both reds go away, but it's not without danger to play that now. If you ever hit the first one a little too quick, you could get up on the yellow. It's really thin to make sure you catch the second red. The weight Niklas can throw, you expect even if he has to throw the first one fairly thin to make contact with the second, he'll get it spinning, and it should still leave the house. Going to leave 1 yellow when he does this as well, and the shooter. So looking to catch that first red stone, less than half, probably about a third, maybe even a quarter. Have it into the side of the red stone on the button. That one will go out easy to leave out the side. Red stone means making contact with. We'll hit that one, hit the yellow behind it, and then you're hoping it has enough action to spin all the way out the side of the house. Oscar Eriksson on the brush, picked it up right away, makes contact, and does with that big spin, get it all the way out. One yellow actually jammed on the other one. Bit of a bad break for Yanagisawa because it does cut the rings down a little bit more. He would have probably been happy if that would have just cleared the back yellow. He would have had more room here. Could make the freeze. That's the same, but put you in the same situation as last. And Niklas Edin made a nice freeze on his first one, but when Riku locked his final stone on the face of it, no opportunity for 2, and Niklas had to make a great shot with the last one just to score. Would love to just dead bury this in the front half the button if it could. On the brush early. Sweeping on the angle with an attempt to hold it straight. Not just needing it to go straight, needed a little bit more weight. That's going to come up well short. And now an opportunity for Niklas Edin. He can get one in front of the tee line. It's 3 guards in front of it. An opportunity perhaps for the steal. There's a lot of late movement here in Swift Current, so he leaves us in the top of the 4-foot. There's probably still room to come around the outside. And there we have a look at one more. Not sure if that's a coach or an alternate. Bob Ursley, the coach for the team. Another player there, perhaps. Might be ill, might be injured. Looks like he's in attendance anyway, and in the arena. With the Dean looking for the come around, and they're having to really go to get it by. Not going to get by, and this is short as well. Does make the guard situation at the top quite a bit wider. I think his first thought was play the run back to the blank. Take a quick look to see whether the red-yellow combination is lined up with that stone. And it might. A little bit of separation between those two, so it will matter a little bit how you hit the first one. A little bit easier to call just to play the straight run back on your own. And if you ever happen to hit this one just wrong, make contact with that stone and stick for one, that's still better than a steal. Play the red-yellow combination, you're either giving up a steal or getting the blank. There's no possibility of scoring. On the brush early, they backed away. Call him come both ways. He's got to be close. And that's what happens when you know you're close. You make contact, but keeps the stone in the rings. It'll be a single point. However, for Yanagisawa, he retakes the lead. It's 2-1. Niklas Edin with last rock in the 4th.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that it's not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes, and you have to build your team, and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
John Joyce with you here live from Swift Current, the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Outstanding job done once again by the Swift Current Curling Club. They've had an outstanding event here for a few years. This is the first year, I believe, where they've combined both the men's and women's event. A great job. They do a good job attracting an international field here, which is great for the local fans. But an American team, of course, in this particular game, Sweden represented and Japan. There's 3 teams from Switzerland here as well, and a Korean team on the men's side. Strong international contingent, along with some of the top teams in Canada as well. Yanagisawa with the 1-point lead as we begin play here in the 4th end. Without last drop, they threw the center guard. Dean throws the corner. Now the come around. Right into the top of the forefoot. Dean's going to ignore that stone and look to come around the corner guard. Christopher Sundgren, the lead for the Dean foursome. Through the guard with his first one, comes around it for the second one. Both of the leads having an excellent game here. And I believe I have now Sarah Hogue joining me. Joining me shortly. Hitoshi Kazumi looking to make a play on that stone that was just delivered. Has to get by the guard first. Now you see the sweeper switch around to the other side, try to get that last little bit of curl. Skipper had to be ready to take that rock out the back. Now Yanagisawa 72. Shot rock, the one that just rolled over, is open. Not sure if we can get enough of the inside to move both reds there. Just looking at coming around with the outturn, and before I say outturn, I have to make sure it's still Rasmus throwing because Austria's left-handed. Standing shot by Rasmus now, and that's just a good example of how much curl there is here in Swift Current from the hog line in. They get by a guard like that and get to the nose of a rock. With that about back line, maybe moved it all the way to the back. Nibble the back 12. Yanagisawa would like to move it back. Let's have the two red stones that he's going to have to get it between. I don't think they were happy with the way that looked, so they've gone to playing the draw on the other side now. I'm not clear on where they're looking to get this. He could corner freeze the yellow, or he could try to get right in for second shot. Does come down, sit right on the corner of the yellow stone.
Really nice corner freeze there.
So Yanagisawa sitting shot rock, the one on the corner of the button is just fully open. He has second shot at the top of the forefoot. Stone corner frozen to his third. Gonna make a play now on shot rock. Back keeps the shooter in there for, I think the shooter is shot rock, second off the top of the forefoot. He's sitting two right now.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like they're sitting two there.
Chance for Soyushi Yamaguchi to make a play on what you think is shot stone, try to roll under cover.
Some directional sweeping here, and they just don't get shot out of that.
Those hit leaves are being putting shot rock buried. But second, third, fourth, and fifth all belong to Yanagisawa. Looks like there's going to be a bit of a team discussion here as to how they approach this. You could play the hit and roll in. Problem is you'd end up with the two yellow stones that have to be pretty close together. You're not going to get a lot of separation when you hit one that's that high. Still, the angle could be very good.
Yeah, I think the discussion here is really about where the shooter then needs to end up, or...
Well, if they're trying to get one that deep in the forefoot, I don't know if they're playing it as a hit.
Yeah, I would agree.
Could be trying. They might be discussing, kind of the chisel in off that red stone with a heavy draw. Try to clip it thin, push it behind the tee line, and roll your shooter a little deeper. And if they're looking at that, I have to think it's just because they want to get some separation between the two yellows. The hit and roll off the red for a team at this level is a pretty easy shot. The problem is you're hitting a rock that high, those two Yellowstones are going to end up real close together.
Looks like they're just drawing to the back four here with
Draw to the back
rays
four.
on that red. Yeah. I mean, that is a pretty safe place to go, considering that those reds will be catchers for you.
Boy, they're going to have to go to get by their own at the top of the 8, but not going to. Comes off that stone. It does spin in enough, but I think they're sitting 2 for now. Close for second shot.
Looks like they're playing to remove both of the yellows here, just kind of like hitting it in between. Their shooter will probably push back a little bit into the 4-foot too.
Does look like he's got room to get to the middle of those two stones to make the double. Even if you don't make the second one, as I said, completely leave the house. Even if it just leaves the 8-foot, you'd be sitting 4.
Absolutely.
The Yellowstone was just delivered is ever so slightly higher in the house than the other stone. So when he comes by here with the big weight, he is going to hit it first. Come across and he'll be on the front edge of the second stone. I'm not sure the weight he's looking to throw. I was surprised to see him take so much ice. And that's the problem with taking so much ice. Hit the first one fairly thick, comes across and does nudge that second Yellowstone, which pushes it further up into the 4-foot. Leaves the redstone top of the 8 staggered. Don't know if he's got anything he can use there. Niklas Edin may have to make a play on that redstone and the 8-foot roll across to get that sitting 2 now. Looking at nudging his own stone, maybe trying to separate them that way. I think they've settled on that shot. I'm not 100% sure they've decided which turn they're going to play at it or how much weight. Just taking one last look at the line. It's really flat to get to the front edge of that second Yellowstone. That's what he's hoping to do. To the front edge of the Yellowstone, nudge it back a little bit, spin up with the shooter, so you'll keep good separation on the 2 yellows.
They're not coming in with a lot of weight here, so this is definitely a shot where they care where their shooter goes.
Last one curl, he makes the hit, but doesn't manage to roll in behind. That's these, I think there's a double available, and it looks like it would pass by the red at the back of the 8-foot. It's critical to get a little bit more roll there just so they don't leave any kind of opportunity. This is a glorious opportunity for Yanagisawa. Make the double. You make the double, hit right on the nose, make the double. You'd be sitting 5, and no real good way into the 4-foot for Niklas. You might have to try that wide out turn again. The freeze to the one at the back of the 4 just to try to salvage a single here. First things first, the double has to be made. It is. Now, he did roll just a little bit to the outside. That might leave a bit of an opening for Niklas Edin to try to come through it. Again, there's a possibility he could chisel off that stone. He's looking at the out-turn draw again. He's made this a couple of times. So I think, and I know you saw it better than I did, Sarah, I think the indication was they're going to try to come right down to the back stone, and this might be a case of just because you're facing 5, you have to make sure you're in front of that back stone to eliminate some of those rocks, so you don't have to face 4 or 5 with your last one.
I completely agree. I think that it's really, really important here that you make sure, no matter what, this stone is really close to those back ones.
As much as you'd love to be in front of the tee line, anything in front of the tee line is probably able to be removed. This has got a lot of room coming by. Needed to be tight to that stone at the top of the 8-foot if he was going to get the line for that back one. Got a nice draw weight, but just stayed out there and slide to the back. I think it's Yanagisawa still sitting 3, it looks like.
Oh boy, that's tough when it just doesn't curl up enough there at the end.
Definitely going to draw here. I'm not 100% sure where they were looking to place this. I would tend to think they want to put it right beside their other stone, top of the 8-foot, take away the entire 4-foot path, although Niklas is always going to have that in 4th on the other side. One's a long ways out there as well, but now picking up the brush a little bit. Waiting for the line now, trying to help it curl over a little bit.
Really good shot there.
Didn't quite get to the inside edge of his own, but where it stopped, I don't think Niklas could hit it on the nose and be shot. It would be real tough to get to the inside of that stone and move it.
I agree. I think you're going to have to throw, down weight at it if you want any sort of inside roll, or you're going to have to look at the other side.
Yeah, I think he's likely got to come at the other side. The question is, do you play it as a draw or as a hit?
Exactly. I mean, at this point, there's a lot of red in there.
Trouble with playing it as a draw is that if it is a skinny port, and if you happen to rub either one of those red stones, there's no guarantee you make it to 4 foot. You might touch both of them. On the other side, the problem with playing it as a hit is you've got to hit it very thin to get by the second rock, get into the 4 foot. If you ever hit it too thin, you're happen to miss it. There's a lot of red stones. Looks like they're playing it as a draw. Port's definitely there. It's a tough shot on ice like this where there's such big late movement. To make that port as it is, he's going to have to be close to the yellow corner guard.
Yeah, I think this is where they really bring their sweepers into play too, just to hold it off as long as they can, make it curl if they need to make it curl. Ice allowing, obviously.
Really going to have to go to get it by the red stones now. It's curling really hard. It's got the port. It had to go on the brush a little bit just to get it through the port. It's going to slide, I think, just a little bit too far. The stone that Riku threw with his last one. You can see the indication. It's going to be a steal of 1. Yanagisawa could have been a lot worse, though, for Niklas Edin. He'll be okay with giving up the single. He's just down by 2 now, and he'll still have last rock.
I've got the bill.
Well, now I've got the tip.
Standard tip increased 2% this year.
That's why I keep you around. So, corn's looking great. Well, our crop plan is working.
And we locked in that input financing at the perfect time.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet. And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
And we're back here in the 5th end. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Sarah Hogue, and I'm joining Sean tonight. So thank you so much, Sean, for letting me talk curling with you while we watch this game.
I think that's an interesting way to phrase it. I've been talking to myself for 4 ends before you got here. 3.5.
Well, really happy for the invite. So thank you to Curling Stadium for the invite to chat some curling. It looks like we are off to an interesting start. There's a steal of one last end, and we do have two wonderful teams playing, two fantastic world level teams, so really excited to watch the rest of this game.
Well, with a 2-point lead here as we begin playing the fifth. Yanagisawa calling for 2 stones into the ring. Edin played the corner guard with Sunken's first stone, and looking to come around it with the second. Left a piece of that rock exposed, so chance for Satoshi Kazumi to make a play on it.
And a sweep to hold it off, but they just rack that guard. Bumps the red one in though, so although they only had one in the rings prior, I mean, at least they did get a little bit out of that shot.
Rasmus Rana looking to make a play on shot stone. Played a hit and roll to the corner, I believe.
Great
Nothing
throw
buried, but he is
there.
sitting 2.
All right, so we're looking at like a little hit and roll here. Now, Sean, would you roll right behind yours, or would you try to over-roll a little bit, knowing, of course, that Edin's just so good at their precision hits?
Well, that's just it, though. With a 2-point lead, if you can make Edin play runbacks, you're fine with that, especially when it's your own rock that you'd be running back. So I think you try to roll behind your own, but you definitely can't underroll. If you overroll on this, even if you're into the open, Niklas Edin makes a play on it, you might get a double on the yellows later on. He's not really worried about scoring, stealing. He really doesn't even have to worry about a forced right now. He just doesn't want to give up the chance to do.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I fully agree with you there. There's a great shot made, and now we'll see Edin go for the draw here.
Christopher Sundin really leaning on that brush. Pick this up right away, and this game at all. It's really strong. It's a little bit good. Both teams good. Although the end together is coming up short of the rings. Chance for Yanagisawa now to make a play on that Yellowstone. Its second shot. It's the only Yellowstone in the rings. Let's see just a little bit more than half of it.
Yeah, and we've seen them play a couple of those like soft weight hits so far this game, making them really well. I mean, it's tough curling with 3, but when your athletes like at this level, it's very easy to sweep or directionally sweep and keep that momentum going even with 3 players.
On the brush, looking to hold it straight now, backing off a bit. Makes the hit. The shooter comes across, rolls to the back of the 8-foot. Yanagisawa sitting 3.
We're going to see this draw again. It looks like they're taking a couple inches more ice here. So we'll see what happens.
Now, the last attempt from Rana, they were on the brush right away. This one, they hadn't touched to about the halfway point. They end up rubbing the guard coming by. Does get into the 12-foot. Weight would have been close.
Absolutely, it would have been close.
The way they backed away from it at the start, you would have thought it was really heavy, and it doesn't look like it was that bad. Just without the rub, it might have been keyline by itself. I think it was any deeper than that. Of course, the other problem for Niklas Edin, and we've talked about it already, how good they are at the runbacks with that little rub on the guard. They've now overlapped the 2 stones at the front, so he can't play any kind of run back on his own yellow.
You're absolutely right. And now with this little hit and roll, I mean, those reds are really undercover. It's going to take a lot to get out of this end.
You can see about half a rock on the shot stone. He's looking at the outturn draw again. I think he needs to make a play on the shot stone just to open up a path to get into the button area with his next one.
Looks like there'll be a little discussion here. I mean, sometimes things look different from the hacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes players have a preference or maybe another idea.
I think Oscar's looking at the guard, or at least I thought he was when he angle slashed with his arm. I thought he was looking at playing the red guard onto the stone at the top of the 8-foot, move a couple that way, and it would get rid of the overlap on the yellow-red at the top.
I fully agree. I also think it might catch that like the one that's just biting the 4-foot as well, if you can.
You could move all 3 of those stones. It is the 2 at the top of the 8-foot probably bother Niklas more than the one at the back. That one actually could help him if he could get to it. But Niklas appears to be looking at now. That was the shot I saw first. If you could come down, make a play on shot stone, put it at least behind the tee line, your shooter's going to roll out and be open to the edge of the 8-foot. But Yanagisawa is likely going to make a play on that stone, and that should leave you a draw into the button area behind cover.
Yeah, I'd agree. Leaving yourself at least that path, because we've seen quite a few over curl on this other side. Going for the draw again.
Well, it's going to say out-turn draw, but it's Oscar Erickson. You got to check yourself. It's an in-turn draw for Oscar. But they have preferred this turn for the draws, going both directions. So they do seem to have that preference. Of course, we know we're into the 6th draw here in the event. We've seen lots of movement from the hog line in. It really doesn't need to be too tight to anything at the top of the rings to get buried. Starting to curl now, and now it should really finish.
Not too much panic on this one as there were in the other few draws that we saw coming down this way, which is great. And beautiful sweep right to the back one. So I don't think that one's going anywhere.
First indication from Yanagisawa was just to come down and sit on top of it. I think now what they're discussing looks like it'd be nice to move the back one even just a few inches. Don't have to move it very far, just so that you can move the yellow one back if you have to play it again. If you just freeze the face, that yellow stone that would be in the middle is never going anywhere. Once they've settled on the shot, it's just a question of where do you put the broom. I've had this come up a couple of times already in the event. Not usually in a situation like this. It's usually in more of a desperation situation where teams trying to draw to the back 8, back 12. It's not a shot you play very often, so now you have to put the broom down for it. You're not as confident that you know where you're going here. It's a draw to the tee line, you know where the broom has to go. A draw to the back 8 foot, you just don't play that shot on purpose very often.
I agree. It's one of those things where you think, okay, where would we take for hack? Where would we take for tee line? And then you kind of have to gauge from there. You're right. You don't call that very often to play
Usually a
that
mistake.
back 8. Yeah, exactly.
And unmentionable. Not sure he took enough ice here. This is really moving over towards the guard. Maybe doesn't have quite the weight either. Edges his own red stone up. But I think still left everything overlapped on those reds. I don't think he's got any kind of a tap available. Maybe the angle tap. That's the one Niklas is looking at. He might have the angle tap on the other side to get shot rock. I don't think Niklas could just throw a straight guard here.
I don't think so either, because we do have this other path that's so open. And then
It's not the other path I'd be worried about. It's the coming off of his own at the edge of the 12 foot to sit 5.
absolutely.
Too many red ones in the rings to be throwing another guard. But now, how do you get in?
I'm glad he's the one making the call and not me, because I think
Well, it looks like both Oscar and Niklas have got down to take a look at that angle. Can Riku see enough of that red stone? When he drives it back towards the yellow, it has to stay on the inside of the yellow. If it doesn't, you're not making that yellow go away. So it kind of looks like they're not worried about that one. I did see Oscar indicate there is that Yellowstone wide from the overhead as we see it well over to the right-hand side. They could come off that stone and try to get thin. If they come off that and try to get to the yellow at the back. So important to get another one in here now, and they're going to try coming around from that wide out turn again. And now again, with that last red stone coming up short, overlapping it a little bit more. He has to go even wider to get around that stone.
Yeah, and I don't think that they've gone this far out yet.
That's what I was trying to think back. I can't remember seeing one this far out.
Brings down. I mean, they haven't gone this far out, so it might run a little bit different.
I had a chance to see this, not in this game, but a couple of games earlier when they had to go really wide. Hadn't been there all game. They found it was a little bit heavier as well. Had the line, just didn't quite have the weight. And you know, it's hard to tell from this camera angle whether he got that yellow deep enough. I don't know if he could even tap it up. It looks like it's almost touching the side of that other redstone if it is.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of air between the two, but if you touch it...
Yeah, if you touch it, it's not coming back straight enough to get into the forklift.
Exactly. Exactly.
Riku Yanagisawa, chance to play a short little tap up on his own stone on the top of the 8-foot. Just try to get shot rock here, and then you might have some kind of a, if you're already sitting shot, you might have some kind of a shot for a pile with your last one.
Well, I think this might be his last one, or am I miscounting here?
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking the wrong team's got last rock here. It's Edin with last rock. Just trying to tap this up and attempt to steal.
And they don't have to tap it very far either. It's almost like a just back tee type weight to tap it for shot.
Wants to get fairly close to the nose of it, though. He would like to keep his shooter in the way. You saw them sweeping for the extra curl. Actually, plan B way to go about it. He hit it thin enough that he actually gets his shooter behind it.
And then the shooter with the little roll in.
It did take a spin at the end, but I think it's still third, so Niklas Edin eyeing up the double. Would be for 2.
Looking at how that red one reacts on the yellow.
Come right into the side of the red, passing by the yellow. You get your deuce easy enough. I think that they are worried about, or at least being conscious about their conversation, is it's possible that red is high enough. You could come off it and actually catch the front edge of that other red stone, the shot stone, push it back towards the yellow.
Yeah.
This is thinner than you think. Half a rock is probably too thick.
Oh, I fully agree. I also think you can't overthrow it either because your shooter might just keep going.
Spin up, yeah. Out of the brush early and then looking for some curl, looking to hit about a third here. Makes the hit. He's going to be a little thin, comes across, catches his own, but so dead onto his own that he actually sticks for shot rock. So a bit of a break for Niklas Edin, not hitting quite what he needed of that stone to make the double, but manages to pick up a single point anyway. They're close to within 1 with the Yanagisawa with last rock in the 6th.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Well, a single point for Niklas Edin in the fifth end, and got that single point on the type of shot where if you did that in a club game, you'd turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Your opposition would say, "Oh, that's all right. Just don't let it happen again." Keeps the game close, though. It's just a single point separating the two teams. Yanagisawa with the last rock as we begin play here in the sixth. Center guard thrown up to start the end. They come around to the top of the fourth. Christopher Sundgren trying to follow that red stone down. That's the stone you saw just come to rest on the top of the eight.
It's really nice ice when you're able to really bury like this.
After that last shot of Niklas Edin, in all seriousness, that's the kind of shot where it's in his wheelhouse so much that you'd almost expect him to make it. But this is still just their second game of the event, and they probably haven't seen a lot of outside or inside-out hits out that wide in the ice, and it just didn't curl as much as they expected it to. He might miss it on Thursday. I wouldn't expect him to miss it on Sunday.
So true. All right, and this one will go just behind the tee line, which is totally fine with them. If it was any higher, it might spell trouble with potential for a double. So we definitely wanted it a little bit deeper than theirs on the 4-foot.
Rasmus Rana with another attempt to come around, and we talked about it a couple of times in this game. Really, they really have preferred this out-turn draw. I thought he was trying to come into the rings with that. He ends up with the second guard. Probably more angle than he would have liked too. There's room to get a double peel, and you might be able to get it coming back at that stone at the top of the 8-foot, move all three yellows. If you kill both guards and roll away, you wouldn't even mind if you jammed it onto the red one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't know how excited as the lead gets. Satoshi Kazumi probably doesn't normally get to throw that hard. But playing shorthanded, he gets to throw the third stone at the end as well. In this case, it's the sixth one, where he gets to peel a guard. Makes the double peel.
And makes it really well. Now Edin's in a difficult spot here. I mean, you go too high, and with the swing of this ice, your rock might not be protected. And if you go too deep, as we've seen, I mean, it's very easy for teams like this to make those double peels or to make those doubles.
Yeah, critical to keep these dead in line so they don't use any kind of angle to play a double peel and roll off.
Exactly.
Lead and hammer and shot rock for now. They'll just play the straight peel on the guard. They know that at some point in time, Niklas Edin's going to have to make a play in the house. We might not see that for a few stones yet. Had a chance to see something like this in a game I was doing earlier today. It was a women's game where they perhaps make the move a little bit sooner. And I don't know, Sarah, whether you would say that's a fair comment to say that the men might wait a shot or two later to make their move in the house because they know they can move a little bit more granite with one rock.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, well, I mean, my team and I have even had this conversation in the past that when you look at the men's game and when you look at the ladies' game, there are definitely elements of the strategy that almost make it a different game altogether. I feel like the women's teams might play certain things earlier, just knowing their strengths, and certain men's teams might wait on some things because of their strengths. It's really, really interesting. I would love for some, I don't know, scientists to do some comparisons or something, but I definitely think that the sport of curling, although we all throw the same shots, it would be interesting to see the psychology behind it all.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It's the same shots, and it all comes down to timing. It's when do you make your move in the rings? And some of these men's teams, and certainly the two that we're watching here tonight, have the ability to wait a little bit longer if they want to. Now that guard, not where they'd like it to be. A little tight, and they've left some angle. Riku's first thought was to just play the straight peel on it. This is always interesting. It's the guy in the hack that wants to make the double.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking down, I can make that, Skipper. I can make that. Skipper's looking at it thinking, yeah, you could, but you could also jam it.
I mean, it's always fun to throw those shots until you miss them.
It's there. It's tough. What he's looking at to try to make the double is to take the stone that was just delivered across the face of the stone at the top of the 8-foot, and it's got to be quite a bit across the face because he's got to chip that yellow by the red in the 4-foot. But again, the way these guys can throw that, the shot's definitely there to be made. Problem is there's a chance of jamming. There's really two jam possibilities. You can jam the first yellow onto the second lead of the rings, or you could jam the second yellow into the red in the 4-foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think here too, there's definitely an easier way to make this, but then your shooter's sticking around at the top as, you know, another guard. So
you're looking at the straight bet. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like that doesn't really help you any. So you are having to go.
Well, if you ever hit it a sliver off the nose, you miss the second one and leave a guard.
Exactly.
looking to hit it fairly thick to drive it between those stones in the rings. Rolls his shooter all the way to the divider.
And that's totally fine too. Now Edin's going to have to make a decision as to what he wants to do. Looks like he's playing in the house.
But he might throw one more guard.
I thought so too. But yet again, I'm more of a club curler, and he's a multiple-time Olympian, so I'm going to let him make those decisions, and I'll just support it.
You see him looking over his shoulder too, so part of what he's considering, if we make the tap up to the angle freeze, they can't get rid of the yellow because it's going to go into that red. That's still, you don't necessarily have to play it on this one. It does look like they've opted for the guard. Still would like to get this lined up, so they're looking for some curl on the brush. Lined up a little better this time, so no thought of the double. Be a straight peel.
Absolutely. And even though they could see some of the rock in the house, that's not the problem rock for them. It's definitely the guard, because that's something that Edin could use later. In my opinion.
Well, Edin looked at playing the tap on the last one. You almost have to play it here. But his first indication was looking to roll. He might not be looking at playing this as a tap. He's looking to play this as a hit. So yellow on to red. He wants to hit it a little on the broom side, so his shooter will roll to the left as we're looking at it. The raised stone will roll to the right. He'll get them separated that way. Looking to force here. He's looked at that. He's looked over his shoulder several times at that red stone at the edge of the 12th a few times. I thought maybe he was looking at the tap to the corner freeze with the thought that he wouldn't be able to kill the yellow one now. He might be looking at that red one as a catcher when he plays this run back.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because it's just behind T.
That was not the way he indicated they wanted to hit it. It worked out.
The double is tricky-ish.
Well, the nice thing for Yanagisawa here is that all the peels they've thrown this end have been in this path, so he knows what it's going to do. Don't think there's any way he can jam this so that it goes into the red at the side. It's either going to dead jam or he makes the double.
I agree.
Jam's fairly solid. Spinning off the contact, but it does stick around at the back of the 12-foot for shot rock. Now for, where do you put this stone to try to get the force? You have to avoid leaving any kind of double.
It originally looked like he wanted to just split the rings, but now there's a discussion with the red one.
Rasmus looking at hitting the red just to make sure we can't give up two. The
and
problem
that's
is
a fair point.
Real hard to separate your own two stones when you hit that red stone.
Yeah.
Yanagisawa's only up by 1. If you hit it on the nose, the slash double would be there for the blank, but missing that slash double is a steal, and I'm not sure he takes that chance with only a 1-point lead.
I'd agree. I'd take a hit and roll, or just like a hit and stick, or a hit and roll per shot over that double. Up by 2.
But yeah, I think if Niklas noses it, I think Riku throws the draw.
Definitely toss the draw. I'm just looking here at Edin's shots.
Yeah, he's looking at 2 spots.
Yeah.
It looks like he's looking wide to the edge of the 8-foot, or the other option is split the center line at the top of the 8-foot, leaving a slash double, but it's the kind of slash double where you couldn't hold your shooter.
I mean, this is not bad. Going like just into the 8-foot.
It's a path they know as well. Now, they are going to go to the edge of the 8-foot. It surprised me when Rasmus went over there. I thought he was putting the broom down for the in-turn draw to the center line, and I was thinking they haven't played an in-turn draw the whole game.
Yeah, they've definitely just liked the one side.
Yeah, I would have been shocked if he played the in-turn draw to the middle. Either shot's fine here. It's whichever one you know, whichever one you feel comfortable with. It does have to be fairly deep with this. Your top 8-foot going to the corner, it will leave an opportunity for Riku to try the double for 2. You miss the double for 2, it's still a steal of 1, but the difference between that and the situation I was just talking about, a double for the blank versus a double for 2, well, the risk-reward analysis is considerably different. If you leave him a double for 2, he's going to play it. Nothing out of the brushers. This is the danger when you're trying to get this to the back. It still has to stop in time. It's not going to.
No, it just too much. Just. Looks like a hit and stick for 2.
Yeah, Niklas Edin had the chance there. He only has to come up about a foot shorter of where he was, and he's got the force, but by sliding that little bit too deep, leaves that red stone on the right-hand side as you look at it for second. And the nose hit would give him the deuce. Has to get to the nose. He doesn't have much room to roll. Pressure just cleaning it now. They've called for the offside sweep, try to get some curl. Has to get to the nose, doesn't have a lot of room to roll. Rolls a couple of inches, but he had that much.
That was really good directional sweeping there.
Put 2 points on the board for Riku Yanagisawa, and he'll take a 3-point lead into the 7th.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, What do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
And we're back in the 7th end. We've had a really exciting game here so far. We did see a few draws go a little bit heavy, but it looks like this next end is off to a good start.
Well, we've seen one heavy draw already, though, this end. That was supposed to be a corner guard. Slipped into the rings.
I did not know that. I was watching our wonderful sponsors commercial here from SaskTel, and I totally missed that.
What position do you normally play, Sarah?
This season I am on a 5-man team for Emily Belay, and we'll be playing second at the Last Chance event in Assiniboia. Yeah, so definitely not the strategist of the group. Let's be honest.
It wasn't that. I thought, it's the kind of thing that you expect a lead to just ignore the fact that the corner guard slipped into the rings. We'll just let that go. We're not even going to talk about that. You'd expect a fellow lead to do that. Well, the second should be all over that.
I've definitely been there, but no, I am enjoying. I've played a little bit of lead with this team and a little bit of second, so happy ignoring it, but also happy acknowledging it too. No, I think if you had me in the house, you know that the game was going really, really poorly.
This is where Niklas Edin is happy that they've gone to the 5-rock 3-guard zone a few years ago, because now he still gets the corner guard out of this.
Absolutely. I just on the topic of guards, this has nothing to do with this game here, but the no-tick rule has been really interesting to see how some teams, it really impacted the strategy, whereas other teams, it was like nothing fazed them. I'm really interested to see how, the game progresses with that new rule. And I say new as in the last couple of years, but it's been an interesting development.
One thing I thought we might see when that rule came in was a few more accidental ones. But certainly the way the ice runs here, it's not something you'd expect, because where you get that accidental rub off the center line is usually when you have to come tight by the guards. Well, you do not have to come tight by the guards on this ice. All the movement, so much movement late, you can come by a guard by 8-10 inches and still bury on it.
Absolutely.
If you're tight by the guard, you're probably coming out the other side.
Swift Current's always such wonderful ice. I always find that it's nice to sweep on. Really nice roll.
Have to admit, when he came out of the hacks that hard, I didn't know what they were playing because that was still just the fifth rock. He couldn't play the guard. Rasmus Rana being asked to make a play on the two reds in the middle. They don't want to kill them here. They just want to move things around. So they can maybe build a wall at the back of the forefoot. Something to go along with the corner guard they've got. Well, that's very nicely done. Nice gentle little tap back to put those two reds side by side. There's a pocket there to freeze into.
Yeah, and the shooter stayed really close too, which is fantastic.
I think the indication from Yanagisawa is they're going to try to hit and roll in front of the pocket. Got two choices here, really. There's not being a lot of separation between those rocks. You could play the yellow-red double. Try to get rid of that pocket.
And when you're up by 3 like this, that's definitely an option. And hope that your shooter just goes to a decent place and not just, you know, sitting behind the tee.
They didn't get either one. He drives it straight back, doesn't make contact with either of the reds, and didn't roll in front of the pocket. So Rana has a chance to. He made the pocket with his first one, a chance to draw down, sit in it with his second. You can lock this right on the face of those two reds. You only need a stick of dynamite to get it out.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's not leaving on the next shot. Indication there that he wants really big weight. The yellow's not going very far anyway. I think you could throw this with normal, just try to hit it right on the nose, kill both reds, but leave your shooter frozen on top of the yellow. That gets tougher the harder you throw it.
Lots of rotation, lots of weight. Let's see what happens. Oh, wow.
Spins the yellow up in behind the corner guard.
That's that benefit of the added rotation. And lively rocks.
Yeah,
In some ranks, you just couldn't play that.
Well, I'm not sure it helped you. I mean, now Niklas Edin is set up to get his deuce.
Because it's right behind his guard.
Yeah. And you're never going to be able to play it. You're going to have to address it. He's going to play in the middle, and you're going to have to address that one for the rest of the end. And if you can get another freeze, and it kind of looks like that's what he's looking to set up here. You could come down, tap that red stone at the top of the forefoot back 6 inches so that it's dead even with the other one. And you're in that same situation again, a pocket where how do you get the yellow out? Oscar Eriksson. Going to make the tap back. You saw Rasmus Rana do it. course, Rasmus threw the tap back first to make the pocket and then throws it with the second one. Oscar looking to do both of those with one stone. Well, he made it pretty quick, pretty good. He might have tapped it back far enough. There might be room to get the yellow out. There might not be.
I wonder if you can just hit it in a way that, of course, your back red might go, but your middle red stays and the yellow goes. But I wonder if they're
No.
trying. No?
No, I don't think there's any way you're getting that underneath the second red stone. It looks to me like they're so close together. It's going to touch the red stone at the shot rock, and then it's got to go. It's got to go into the back of the other stone.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And it will be the back of the other stone. That red stone would actually come out a little bit towards the front of the house. If they're indicating that they think it could go into the yellow. It's never going into that yellow side. It's going over the top of it all day.
The second red.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could make it so that that red one is close to the yellow, you know, like setting something up, but I don't think it goes into it.
Back to the same type of shot that they were looking at last time. Instead of throwing the big weight, which you don't really need to do here, hit that yellow pretty much right on the nose or just a sliver on the center line side. Leave your shooter directly in front of the yellow, and now you've got a way to get the yellow out. Plus, now your shooter is high enough. You could come off your shooter on the next one and get into that side yellow one, make the double that way. But if you leave the red yellow in a angle so that you can get that yellow one out, what does Niklas Edin do with this next one?
There's also the question of where does your shooter go with all of this?
Well, if they're looking to throw weight, I think they're probably looking to lose the shooter.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, if you try playing that to blast the yellow and get it out, yeah, I'm not sure that it even goes. You're going to lose the red at the furthest back red, the one that it's corner frozen on. That one's going for sure. The yellow comes across, catches the back end of that red, and the top of the 4-foot drives it out the side. Now, if the yellow doesn't leave, if it stays in the back 8-foot somewhere, now 3's in play.
Absolutely. Especially if it's hitting kind of the back side of that red one, then it's popping that red one up and not necessarily where you want it to go to group with that yellow one. It's tough.
Well, I didn't think they needed to blast it the last time, and I don't think they need to blast it now. I think it's more important to control your shooter here. Put your shooter in a good spot where you can kill the yellow one on the next one. And in this case, you could actually, if you hit right on the nose with your red, look at where the red would be. Now you've got hit the red with the next one, come across, catch the yellow at the side of the 8-foot. The yellow that's right behind the red goes easy. It almost looks like because they're 3 points up, they don't want to play a setup shot.
If it was you tossing, what would you prefer?
just the nose hit on the yellow. Quieter weight control hit. You want to stay in front of it.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah. Exactly how you drew it up.
Yeah. There's a shot for 3 now. And actually, 4 is not out of the question because Niklas Edin is going to come around that corner guard, sit 2 buried, and can Yanagisawa afford to ignore the open stone?
I don't think.
Plays the open stone. Niklas comes around again, sits 3 buried, even if they're second, third, and fourth. 4 might be possible. Nothing out of the brushers yet. A lot of room by the guard. Boy, he needs this to stop where he doesn't leave a double.
Oh.
I think it slid a little too far.
Yeah. Especially with how much weight they can throw, it's very easy to keep those stones straight. Just don't need too much separate, or you don't need like too much of an angle to get them.
Big shot here for Riku. It's first time they've really been in any kind of trouble. Across, nudges the second stone. Just enough to get it out of the rings. Still, there's some daylight there. Niklas has room to get to the inside of that stone, get the roll behind cover. He's still in play. Could even roll right to his own that's just out of the rings at the back. I believe the 2 stones in the rings would be Christmas treed with the guard. I think he might be able to make a play to pick one of them out, but it could be without risk. He's going to have to curl if he's going to get the roll, though. It's the hit, but actually rolls a little bit back towards the center line. So that stone is open.
Nose hit here is okay.
Yeah, you've got to be happy now. You've dodged a little bit of a bullet here. Give up the deuce. You're still 1 up with last rock coming home. With the chance he could roll Broom's side almost buried. He wouldn't be able to be dead buried, I don't think. But to bury a piece of it, still be shot rock. Pretty precise. It's the luxury being 3 points up, though. You can make a pass at that. Doesn't get the roll. Stays right there. So Niklas Edin will make his way down. Needs to hit and stay anywhere in the rings. Can pick up 2 points and close to within 1 coming home. Still, for the Edin team, that's a much more manageable situation. You'd like to, when you put yourself in a situation where you have to steal, you certainly want to only have to steal one at a time. It's not like deuces don't happen, but you don't have to change the, you don't have to go full hog aggressive to steal two, or to steal two now. You can steal 1 point in 8 and then try to set up and do it again in the extra end.
Absolutely.
Full credit to the Edin team. They pick up their deuce here in the 7th. It's 5-4 for Riku Yanagisawa. He will have last rock with that 1 point lead in the 8th.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that it's not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Sean Joyce, Sarah Hogue with you here live from the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown in Swift Current. And Sarah, you were talking about it earlier, the no-tick zone and the difference that it makes. And this is the situation where you really see it. 8th end, Niklas Edin needing to steal. Gets to throw those center guards, knowing that you can't move them off the line. But the second one, looking for the tighter guard, the stone that just came to rest, slides into the rings. A good look at it from the overhead, so they can make a play on that stone now.
Absolutely, they can.
It's not that rock 4 inches shorter, and it's a great shot where it is.
Edin picked up his 2 last end, so he's just looking to steal 1 here, as you were mentioning. A steal of 2 would be great, but we saw a tick, and now we're back to Edin looking to maybe just tap that red one back just a little bit.
This might just be because of where that first guard is situated. It's about halfway between the house and the hog line. Really not where you wanted it. It does make it very difficult to throw the second guard, and that probably contributed to the second one coming into the rings. You're trying to get some separation. Not that they could play the double peel right away, but eventually. And it's the same problem here. You'd love to have a second guard, but if you try to throw the second guard, you're probably leaving a double peel.
Yeah, and we've already discussed that teams like this, those double peels come very naturally to both teams. I mean, they practice them a lot, but also you might not necessarily see some maybe younger teams or some other teams playing as many of those like tough double peel, triple peel type shots.
They come down, make the tap back. I think they were fully expecting that Yanagisawa would just peel the center guard. That's what I was expecting. That's the call ultimately. I think they were maybe just trying to get an indication from the far end how much they could see. I think you always peel the center guard though. And again, just like we saw earlier in the game, this is going to come down to a discussion of timing. The Edin team will continue to throw guards for a while now, knowing that Yanagisawa is going to peel them. And at what point in time do you make your move into the house? And what's that move going to be? You could freeze the back one. You could cap up the stone that's already sitting at the top of the 4-foot. I guess in theory, a lot of teams, club teams even, would just guard this for the rest of the end. But at this level, you probably don't expect that stone is good enough to steal with.
Yeah. I also think that that's one lonely stone if you keep just guarding it.
One is all you need. They're going to keep guarding it for a while anyway. They've got to make Yanagisawa throw some straight peels. They don't want to come into the rings too early and leave too many chances to play doubles. Oscar Eriksson with his first throwing a guard. Pretty sure he'll be throwing a guard with his second one as well. And it wouldn't shock me to see Niklas Edin throw a guard with his first one and wait right till his final stone to make the move into the house. That's exactly what they're discussing now. Niklas has moved off to the side.
And I'll throw the guard back up.
One more for sure. I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw it twice. As long as they keep it in the same place, you know that Yanagisawa is going to peel the guard. That might be a little bit tighter this time. So he's going to over curl. Over curl and be really long. I'm really tempted to play the stone in the rings.
Absolutely. They can see all of it.
Now, I don't know, and they're never going to admit it, but I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, is there any chance that Edin played that shot on purpose? And here's what I'm thinking. You let them hit the rock at the top of the 12, or the top of the 4-foot. Now you come around and throw the tight guard. He peels the high one, and you come around the tight guard with your last one to try to steal. It's the only way he's going to have a tight guard to come around.
Yeah. I mean, you almost wonder, do you just now peel that yellow guard regardless of the one in the rings?
I don't think you're wrong to make the move on the stone in the rings. It's in the 4-foot, and that guard by itself isn't much good. So, Niklas Edin is going to have to throw the tighter guard. On this ice, he could throw the tighter guard into the 12-foot, still be able to get around it with his last one. I'm not sure I would have played that. That stone at the top of the 8-foot acts as a guard.
Absolutely it does. And the one in the back, 8-foot, protects you too.
Yeah, I think if you're frozen to that stone at the back of the 8, you have to be shot rock. Still, that stone at the top of the 8-foot, I mean, if it came right down to it and you had to tap that stone up, that's not a difficult tap. If the beam makes the freeze here, you might see them peel the center guard. And no matter what Niklas throws with his last one, at the worst, you've got a 6-foot tap up, or 6-inch tap up, pardon me. Any room by the guard, still has to get by the stone at the top of the 8-foot. By that one as well. Now looking for that last little bit of curl to get to the face of that stone at the back, and
Really
gives
good
himself
shot.
a bit of an angle, but it is shot rock. Feel the guard, you know you're going to have a short tap of some sort or another with your last one. This is where if we were playing with time clocks, you could pretty much bet Niklas Edin would be calling his timeout right after this stone comes to rest.
Absolutely.
Still expect there's going to be a discussion. Where do you put this stone? You follow your last one down, sit right on top of it again.
Personally, I don't mind that.
If you could absolutely walk it down and get it to really finish at the end, you'd love to hook just a corner under that stone at the top of the 8-foot and stay top 4.
Exactly. Even just biting the button.
I was thinking higher than that still. Leave it kind of where they're staggered. And it will finish like that, but it's very precise. It's very tough. And if you don't get the stagger, it really doesn't change anything. Come all the way down to your own here, or is he coming to the corner of the button?
I think where brooms where it looked like the corner of the button, but I could be completely wrong too.
On the corner of the button, it does put it where Yanagisawa is going to have to move something. Whereas if you come all the way down to your own stone again, Riku will have the straight draw, or he could play the tap back with his choice. Essentially, the tap back is just a straight draw too, just playing the straight draw to the button and tapping the rock that's in the way.
Some good sweeping here.
This line looks a little tighter than the first one.
Oh, it's definitely tighter. Just got by that.
Actually gets to the inside of the stone at the back 4-foot. Yanagisawa can follow it down. He can play the straight back tap as well.
What would you play in this situation? I think I'd follow it. Or maybe I'd tap. I don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they've played for draw paths. I mean, if you played that out turn draw to the button, and we know Niklas Edin has played it, although he just played the last two with the in-turn, but if you know the path for the draw to the button, that tap is right in the way of the draw to the button. You try to follow Niklas down and you rub off your own stone, you're not going to get shot rock. That's the danger.
No, and that could also be game.
Could be if you're heavy, yeah. I don't think you could ever rub it and not get in for a second shot with one or the other, so unless you're heavy.
Absolutely.
I'm never playing it with the weight that he's playing here. He's playing this like a hit.
Yeah, you risk rolling off.
Well, and here's the thing. If you drive this, if you hit this broom side, drive it across the face of the one that was just thrown, you're going to get some drag on the two yellows. That back yellow is going to jam on the red at the back of the 8-foot, and it's not going to leave the rings.
Yep.
Now, I'm not suggesting he's going to feel big weight here, but he's throwing this like a takeout. I thought he'd be throwing a draw tap. The brushers early, then they call for offside sweep. And here's where you get caught when you've only got one sweeper and they're going back and forth whether he needs to make it curl or not. They're going to be a little too thin on the first one, drives it by, and it is a steal of 2 for Niklas Edin, and they pick up the win out of nowhere. Heartbreak for Riku Yanagisawa. Now, this is just an A event game, so they live on in the B event tomorrow. And that puts Niklas Edin through to one of the A qualifying games tomorrow afternoon. Those will be on at 2:30 Saskatchewan time. Sarah Hogue, I want to thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Sean Joyce. We will be with you all weekend long. 5 draws tomorrow, 5 draws again on Saturday, and all of the championship rounds on Sunday, 3 draws on Sunday. A lot of action yet to come from the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown here in Swift Current. Stay with us on SaskTel Curling Stadium all week long, and you won't miss a thing.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
We feed the world with Nutrien, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.